Welcome back to the Work It podcast.
I'm Nat, back with my co host Gerald, and we're back with another episode of the Work Feed where we're going into some things that people are saying online. Now, the last time that we talked, Gerald, we discussed the differences between working in the public sector and the private sector. Today, we want to talk about what's the most important factor that people consider when applying for jobs.
Actually, it's not very difficult to see it, right?
Yeah.
Most people that I know, they would want to have a regular working hours.
Mm-hmm.
They will want to have a job that pays them fairly
Yeah.
or well,
Yeah.
and of course, work near home.
Working near home. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that because the idea for this episode came from a Reddit post a few days ago where someone asked those who travel 1 hour or more across Singapore to get to work every day, what pros and cons are there?
Wow, 1 hour.
Yeah, 1 hour plus. I mean, that's okay. To be honest, that's my commute. And I don't hate it. I like that I have a long enough commute that I can listen to an entire podcast episode.
Yeah,
I
our show, right?
Yeah, I will re-listen to our episodes. I'll watch something on Netflix. I'll do something that helps me maybe get started with my day if I know I'm gonna have a very long day ahead. But it doesn't bother me, but I know it bothers some people.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of people who actually would really like to have a shorter travel commute to work. I think one of the reasons because we are so busy, right? And time is not enough. Those who have kids, I think they really want to be able to have the childcare center nearby, their workplace nearby, so that dropping off kids and picking up kids is easy.
Yeah. Well, some people agree with that because one person, typical SG Redditor, says, I did it for a few years, 5 days a week, having a 1 hour commute. I was super tired every day and affected my mental health.
Oh,
Not
no.
worth it at all.
Oh, wow.
So clearly we have, some people who hate that commute. But we have someone else, Nightwind, who says that there are some pros actually to having a long commute, a long distance between your home and your work. And one of them is that many places are on the way home. So if you need to stop by along the way, meet some friends, decompress after a long week, there are a lot of places to consider.
Yeah, I mean, you could run your errands if you
Yeah.
need to, meeting friends, of course. But then, of course, some people would just want to get home.
Yeah.
Right? They just want to, I just want to go straight home. And of course, if let's say the commute itself was comfortable, I think that's a very important part.
Yes.
Whether short or long, if today you are able to be in a less crowded, and aircon working kind of a train or a bus, then I think the commute would be a bit more pleasant lah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but there's also one other thing. I don't want to take a bus to work. I'm okay with train. I'm okay with, I think, maximum 2 transfers on different lines. But I don't want to have to take the bus to work.
How come?
Because the bus, if you miss one, it's like 12 to 20 minutes to the next one. For train, you miss one, it's like 5-10 minutes, the next one comes. Like, unless there's a, some sort of breakdown or something. But most of the time, if I miss a train, I'm not stressed out. If I miss a bus, my day's ruined because like at the start of the day already, I'm thinking, oh, am I going to be late for work? Am I going to miss this, miss that? So it's just not as pleasant of an experience.
I think the whole waiting for the bus part, you don't get a seat. You have to wait longer. And then I think for me personally, when the bus comes, right, it's like you just want to be at the right standing point at the bus stop so that you get on the bus as quickly as you can and not be like and everybody floods in at rush hour. I think that's tough.
Yeah.
At rush hour for buses, I think it's a really whole different ball game lah. Yeah, so I do think that if today people who are caught in like a long travel commute and have no choice, right? I think then the idea would be how can we make that commute better?
Right.
Like whether do we have more flexible working hours? Do we leave office a little bit earlier or a bit later? I think there are some policies, right, in the public transport that, like, I think when you enter the train station or take a bus earlier on, you get more rebates.
Yes.
So that's meant to kind of influence our travel patterns.
Yeah, but there are some people who don't take public transport at all.
Oh, okay.
I know of people who actually calculate how much it would cost them to take a Grab or Gojek or take a ride-hailing service from home to the office and then from the office back home. And then they negotiate that additional salary with their employer
Oh,
so that they never have to contend with the rest of the crowds who are on the train station platforms or at the bus stops. They just have to think, okay, I'm just gonna book a Grab, I'm gonna schedule a ride, I'm gonna get to work, and then I don't have to think about it until I have to go home.
so those people who have to take an hour-long commute, right? If you're
Yeah.
listening in, then maybe this is something to think about, right? If you're not getting a travel allowance already,
Yeah.
maybe you might want to think about asking for pay increment. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah. It was basically a pay increment because for them it's not like their company had a transport allowance. So they just said, hey, I am willing to work here, but if I'm gonna work here and you're gonna expect me in the office 5 days a week, you're gonna have to pay for my transport here.
people who want to use that strategy? Hopefully, their bosses are nice enough.
Yeah.
I do know though, there are many companies who they know that their workplaces are a bit further away. They do have those pickup points. They have they charter their own private buses to do pickup points at train stations. I
Oh.
think that's pretty good actually.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean that is a solution, but that would require more people to be on the same route as you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, one other thing that someone said here is that she is a bus girl. This comes from the Pandan Cake. Nice name. So the journey allows her to complete her Spotify playlist.
Oh, that's like your friend, right?
Yeah, yeah. So complete the Spotify playlist. I guess they curate the playlist based on their travel time. And meeting up with friends can be strategic too, because like I said, you can pick up somewhere along your home route and you can sort of cheat, she says, by halving your commute time. So if you are from point A to point B and you have a point C in the middle, just meet up with your friends at point C.
For me, I think that cannot work. For me, I'm a kind of person. After work, I will want to be at home as soon as possible. So like meeting friends in between, special occasions, yes.
Yeah.
But if it unless I'm meeting them every day, if not, I'll just be wanting to go home, right? But I can see why some people will want to meet people halfway.
Yeah.
Because if they're going from east to west or west to east, and then the central is just in between, it makes it a lot easier, especially for Fridays.
Yeah, especially Fridays. Fridays, it feels like the commutes are longer, even though it's the exact same route. I know, Gerald, that you looked into some numbers for the commutes of everyday Singaporeans. You want to share some of those numbers with me?
Yeah. I think I was thinking about how long is long, right? Because an hour, I think an hour is just a little bit more than what the norm is. So according to the Budget Direct Insurance Survey, they did this survey of people's average public transport travel time, and guess how long is it?
I don't know.
It's about 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
30 to 45 minutes.
Okay, that puts into perspective my commute
Yeah.
because that's half of my commute.
Yeah. So I do think that 1 hour is, for some people, will be like, 1 hour one way, and then back again is 2 hours in total, right? Then that would be like quite a lot of time.
Yeah. Well, we do have some other factors that people consider when they are applying for jobs, right? Because that's what we're talking about today. One of them is the commute, but the other one, guess what? It's the salary. Because no matter how long your commute is, like Zach says on Reddit, if the pay is 100K per month, I'll sit my butt down on the bus to and fro Changi to Tuas every single day.
Yeah. I think, but the question is whether I pay enough to do what you are doing, and also whether I pay enough to get to where you are supposed to be working, right?
Yeah, that's right. But I do also know of people who have a longer commute than most Singaporeans, because I know of people who actually work in Singapore but live in Malaysia.
Yes, I know those people as well.
Yeah. So they have to come into Singapore at like 6 a.m. or like 4 or 5 a.m. They have to get up ready. And then when they are on the way home, they only reach home at like 9, 10 p.m. Right? So I don't know. I guess for these people, you do the currency conversion and the salary just makes sense for them to be able to do that.
Yeah, but really it takes a lot of effort. My head and my heart goes out to these people, because having to wake up every morning, cross the causeway, and then after that trying to live with almost like so many people back into JB, I think it's so tough.
It is.
It takes a mental load, just the crowd of people. But whenever I see them, I just feel like they have a bigger purpose, I guess, for their traveling. Money could be a very big factor, right? Because of the conversion, like you mentioned. But I think really they're also very they really cherish what they do.
Yeah.
They enjoy what they do. Maybe they have good colleagues as well. So the whole package, right, makes it more worthwhile for them to just keep traveling back and forth lah.
Yeah, well, it's good that you mention good colleagues because
Mm,
that's another thing
mm,
that people mention as to, the things that would make them forget the 1 hour commute. One of the reasons why they would consider a place a good place to work. It's a good working environment. Working with people of like minds, all working to the same mission, similar working styles, maybe similar stages in life, and feeling like, these people aren't just colleagues. At the end of the day, you could even call them friends.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I do think that the workplace itself, I think we mentioned it several times before in other episodes, that the environment there is pretty important. You can be earning a lot of money,
Yeah.
right? You could be working really nearby, but if today you don't like the people you work with, it becomes toxic for you, it becomes stressful for you. I mean, you would find yourself leaving anyway.
I've known of people who have stayed in not ideal work environments because they love their team.
Oh,
Like they hate their boss, they hate the work that they do, they hate their commute, they hate everything about the job, but because they love their team so much, they stay. And they're not paid like a crazy amount of money either. They're paid like a reasonable amount. It's just the people that they stay for.
so for me, right, when I hear something like this, I'll be wondering about, like, what if the people leave?
Yeah.
People do come and go, right?
Yeah.
So if today the people leave and then the dynamics shifted,
Yeah.
and then you realize that the thing that you'll be holding out for is not there anymore, right? Then I think it'll be quite scary.
Yeah, especially for the employer because it's going to be an exodus of a group of people, right? Because once one person leaves and then their work bestie is like, it's not the same, I'm going to find somewhere else. Sometimes they might even go as a team to a different place.
But having said that, right, I have heard of cases before where employers, they deploy people around, right, for purposes of trying to, show them the door.
Oh,
Yeah, there are employers. If, for example, they have multiple offices or they are operating frontline, sometimes they as part of rotation, they rotate people around, and sometimes it feels like to the employee at least, like, why do you rotate me to this other far away place from where I'm living? It signals to them that employer doesn't want them to be there, right? So, and I've heard and stories of employers who do say that, that's one of the ways that they try to test and push the boundaries a little bit. A bit like quiet firing.
Yeah, a little bit of quiet firing, taking you
Not so
away
good.
from the people that you love, and then just like making, trying to see if you'll stay in that company.
Yes,
there.
yes.
Okay.
So I personally do find that that practice, right, not so humane,
Yeah.
because it's like you are affecting this person's life and the whole family just to get the person to resign from the job. You see, you might as well just tell the person that, hey, performance wise, you're not quite there. What can we do to help you a little bit better? And if you cannot, you know what, maybe it's better for you to find another job somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
rather than quietly changing the workplace of the person, or as we talked about it in other shows before, redesigning their work to be something that they cannot do.
Yeah.
Let's say in a faraway place, then oh my goodness.
Yeah. Basically changing the entire environment to not suit them and then letting them make the decision to leave.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, the good work environment, you want it, you wish for it, you look for it, but at the end of the day, it's not something that will sustain you in the long term in a job, or not something you can really rely on. But there is one thing that a lot of people talk about. It's work-life balance. And I think that's very important to a lot of people who are looking for jobs because they don't want to join a company and then end up committing their entire life to this company for the next few years.
Yes.
They want a place that, maybe work and life is separate. Maybe work and life, there are clear boundaries.
When you think about work-life balance, Nat, how would you define that?
I think a good work-life balance is one in which the culture of the team or the company that you're in respects your off hours, respects your leave days, and focuses on work during work. I think it's one in which the team or the company, they respect your off hours, they respect your leave days, they don't disturb you during them, and they have the capacity to allow you to not worry about your work in the time that you're not working. So whether you are taking leave or you're sick or it's the end of your shift or the end of your day, you know that someone else is looking after the work, and so you don't have to be thinking at work while you're living your life.
I see. So you don't feel that you're indispensable.
Yeah.
Right, and that there are some clear boundaries around you, your personal time and your work as well. For me, I asked the question because I find that it's quite hard to define it, in a certain definition. Different people see differently.
It's become a bit of a buzzword, lah.
Yes. I mean, everybody wants work-life balance. I never seen a person who told me I don't want work-life balance. We have certain ideas of what balance looks like. For some people, I do know that the companies are actually really, really good
Yeah.
in giving them protected time, but it's what's happening within themselves. They can't switch off work. And they go back home and they keep working until long hours, and their bosses actually don't need these things.
Right. So it's the worker, it's not the company's
Yes,
fault. Like
yes,
these people, they need to switch off their brain sort of.
correct,
Okay.
correct. So when people say what's important for me is work-life balance, I think it hits home both ways. One from the work itself, the expectations, and then the other one is your own working behaviors.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I do have a question for you. Like,
Mm.
if you had to choose between work-life balance and an ideal commute,
Which is more important?
yeah, which one was more important
I
to you?
think both are important. Maybe if one had to be more important, it'll be the work-life balance.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, it will be, because I think that's something that can keep me going for a longer time. Because if the work commute is long, I can find something to do. You know, and personally, I don't really mind traveling a bit, up to 30 minutes, like the rest of the people in the survey respondents lah. In fact, I realized that for me, if I had to travel, like anything less than 30 minutes, like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, it's too quick.
Too quick.
Yes, I can't transit from home to work and work to home.
Right.
I feel like I still have to take like a longer route home. I would end up walking around the neighborhood for a little bit before I go home. And that has happened to me before.
You need to completely turn off your work brain
Yes.
before you go home and turn on your home brain.
Yes,
Okay.
that's right. So for me, both are important, but I think, right, the work-life balance is the one that perhaps it's harder, and therefore I personally have to look out and ensure that aspect is taken care of lah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm similar to you in a way, because one of the reasons that I like my long commute is that it has enriched my social life a little bit more than when I've had shorter commutes. When I've had shorter commutes, like a 15-20 minute between work and home, I realized that I just want to go home and I don't really want to hang out after work. But when it's a long commute, I feel more incentivized to go out with friends and sometimes colleagues, you know, after work, to kind of de-stress and decouple from the work that I've been doing the whole week or the whole day. There's like a little bit of a mental health balance with the long commute being that reset, you know, for my brain to kind of configure before I go home.
Yeah, it sounds like you know how to make your commute work for you. You know, do as much as possible in between. For me, when I was traveling a little bit, back and forth different workplaces, I found that I was texting people more.
Oh.
Like I was messaging my friends a lot more.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, they send messages and I don't reply like for days, right? So then the commute just gives me the time to just like open up the messages and see who I have not replied yet, send a greeting, you know, remember someone's birthday. Doing that allows me to just reconnect with them. I mean, I don't really personally like to watch videos because I want to give my eyes a bit of a rest, but I thought texting is pretty good. I don't know, do you also do that?
Well, not really, but now that you mention it, I should probably do that more often so that my friends don't feel like I'm ghosting them all the time. Well, but you know, I think we've kind of discussed a lot in today's episode. For sure, there's going to be people out there who are like me and they have a 1 hour plus commute to work. Do you have any tips for those who need to feel better about their mode of transport from home to the workplace and back home?
Try to find a way to make that time productive for yourself, whether it's to unwind your mind and to reflect on what has happened in the day, or it's to learn something on the go, do something productive. Don't just let your time go by.
Yeah. Well, you could also, I think, pick up a hobby that you can accomplish during the commute, of course. You know, don't pick up learning guitar when you're always taking the train to work, right? But one person on the Reddit thread actually said that something that they learned, this by the way is from No Luck 2762. Something I learned forces me to engage in my hobbies rather than just noir. Because you're on a bus, train, in public space. So I picked up reading because I couldn't do anything else on my train seat and I refused to doom scroll for 1 hour straight. So that is something that you can do, you know. I've heard of people who, you know, had a New Year resolution. Today I'm gonna learn how to play chess. And then on their commutes, they're just playing chess on their phones. Our producer was just telling us earlier that when she had a long commute from home to school, she would pick up Japanese, right? And
wow,
so
that's brilliant.
from home to school, she would just be taking Japanese lessons online, and then at the end of the time, I guess she was pretty fluent with it. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot can be done with the time that we are given, right? But it's up to us to make it productive. I'm so inspired by that Japanese story. I think I'm going to try to put that to to learn something on the
Yeah.
go, right? There's so many courses online.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe starting something lah. Maybe let this be the year for me at least to start something, to learn something on the go.
Well, I saw something from the thread that we were going through
Mhm.
that actually, gave me some thought. This person says that her tip for jobs with long commutes is to find one where at least it's near the train station. If you need to take bus, get out of your estate to the MRT station.
Mm.
Because doing bus, MRT, and then bus again is really tiring.
So the aim is to go direct
Yes.
without having to change transports.
Yeah. So, because of the breadth of options that we have here, right? You don't always have to take a train, bus. You can actually find a way to take maybe one straight bus to work. If you're for the buses, not like me. If you are like me and you prefer the trains, just find the train down and then have a little bit of a walk to your workplace,
Yeah,
right?
I think that's a very insightful comment because I do realize that now thinking back, for me taking different train routes,
Yeah.
some train routes are just a bit quieter, less crowded at the same time. So maybe it's just a little bit more travel time, a
Yeah.
few minutes more, a bit more walking to transfer,
Mm.
but it works lah. So do whatever it takes, right, to make that journey more pleasant.
Yeah, like avoiding, those interchanges and avoiding having to switch on stations where there's a long walk between different platforms. I feel like that's something that could really help. Even if it might not shorten your travel time, it'll make you a little bit more comfortable
And make you
right before
happier
the day.
when you're
Yeah,
going to work.
yeah,
Yes.
100%. So I guess that's pretty much it for this episode on what people are looking for to make that 1 hour commute feel a little better.
I'm wondering what our viewers, what our listeners, what would they suggest, right?
Yeah. So if you have anything that you want to say about what makes that 1 hour commute worth it for you, share it with us. Just drop your thoughts wherever you're listening or watching from. Or if you have a work related question that you have no one in your life to help figure it out for you, you can drop us an email at cnapodcast@mediacorp.com.sg.
I'm Gerald.
And I'm Nat. Whether it's pay, people, or purpose, you decide what makes that 1 hour commute worth it for you.